In this video, we'll be showing you how you can create separate leads and contact lists so that you can manage them separately. And first thing to note is we do have another video that shows how to create statuses for your contacts if you want to manage leads and contacts together. And we'll have a link to that video. So we're just showing this screen with the statuses for the contacts, just for those shops that already have it set up. Most of you don't have this set up and you won't see status for your contacts, so you don't have to worry about it. Let's set up the leads. So if you go to settings and you expand contact page, and in your case, you won't have this checked off because this is how you set up the statuses for the contacts. You just need to check off enable leads pipeline. Now what this will do is it'll just give you a warning telling you all contacts will be updated to a completed status and the list of contact statuses will be cleared. Do you wish to continue? All this means is for those customers that were using statuses for your contacts and now want to have separate list of leads and contacts, all of your contacts that didn't have the status completed will by default be given that status so that they can remain contacts. And if you do have contacts that you want them to be leads, we're going to show you later on in the video how you can move them to the leads list. So I'm going to click on proceed. And now we can see if we go back to the contact page, first, the status is gone because you don't need statuses anymore for contacts because all contacts have a status of completed. Next, you'll see underneath contacts as a sub menu, you now have contact leads and it's empty because we don't have any leads added yet. And we'll go over how this works. One thing to note is that you can click on the Kanban view from the contacts or from the leads page. And when you click on it, you can see it'll by default create two statuses, leads and completed. So first, let's go over how to create statuses. So if you click on contact status, I'm just going to right click and load in a new tab. You can see that your statuses are in here, and these are just the default statuses that are given when you create the leads pipeline. So let's just add one more status just to show you how this works. As with any other statuses in the system, I'm just going to call one called hot lead, and I'm going to give it color of orange. I'm not going to set it as my default. And now you see here we have three statuses. So if we go to the Kanban view, I'm just doing a screen refresh. You can see the statuses are here. And let's say Charles, Moore, and Barbara were two customers that were still leads technically and shouldn't be contacts. Well, you see that they were moved to the left. And now if you go to contact leads, you'll see them as leads. And of course, now you can use the statuses in leads. And any contact that you give them a status of completed, it will by default convert them to a contact. So before we do that, let's first look at Barbara Anderson. I'm going to go to estimates. I'm just going to load in a new tab. And I'm going to click on new estimate. And I'm going to search for Barbara. You can see that the contact doesn't exist. Again, it is because the leads list is separate from the contact list. And we purposely, based on input from our print shops, have separated them so that any lead, until they're given the status of completed, is not shown in new estimates or new orders because they're not contacts yet. And of course, they're not shown in the contact list as well. So let's go back to our leads list. I'm just going to do a screen refresh. And now let's go ahead and actually convert Barbara to completed, which can be done from the list view. It could be done from the Kanban view. You can, of course, just move to the right here and completed. And now let's go back here and do another screen refresh for the new estimate. And I'm going to paste the name, and now you can see the name shows up. So now what I'd like to do is go to the demo site to show you how we've set up this test system here. One thing to note is, if you like, we can create the leads as its own left-hand menu. You just have to ask us, and we're happy to do it for you. We think that for some of our shops, they would prefer if the leads is separate rather than inside as a sub-menu for contacts. So that's the first thing. So in this test system, I'm going to click on leads. Next thing I'd like to show are the leads statuses that were created. This is what we think is a good example for print shops. So you can see completed, and in this case, we renamed leads to new. It's up to you, of course. And we just think, based on our feedback from shops, that these would be statuses that maybe you would want to use. So if we go here now, you can see everything is nice and clean. And now if we go to the Kanban view, of course, you can drag and drop and move from one status to the next. If we go back to the default view, you can see everything is updated. And of course, from here, you can go to the multiple selection. And let's say you want to change these two to a status called that they're both on hold. You can see you can update both at the same time. So this is how you can set up leads and have a separate list between leads and contacts in the system. So let's go ahead and click on new lead. So I'm just going to put in a name here, and I'm going to put an email, just all test, of course. And I'm going to select the type. Now, type, as you know, is fully customizable. In this example, the type is just from which marketing channel did they come from. So I'm going to select email marketing. I'm going to put a fake website here. And I'm going to put a company name. And I'm going to put the phone number and the mobile number of that person. And now I'm going to give them a title. I'm going to put comments, is interested in brochures and business cards. Now I'm going to put in the budget, and I'm going to select their time zone and how they'd like to be contacted and whether they want to be opted into the email. And I'm going to put in an address. As you know, we have Google Maps fully integrated, and I'm going to click on submit. So now we can see that our new lead has been added. There are a few things that I showed here that I'd like to go over. First thing is custom fields. So the same way you can add custom fields to contacts, you can add custom fields to leads, and it's the same custom field. So anything you add to your leads, you'll see in your contacts as well. So the way to do that is you go here to custom field from the action button, and you can see these are actually all the custom fields that I showed when I went to new lead, the budget, title, time zone. And you can see we have drop down custom fields, text custom fields, and you can either add these on your own or we can add them for you. One thing to keep in mind is if you were to add it on your own, the custom fields would show up at the bottom of the new leads or new contact, whereas in my example, they were more kind of in the middle of the page. So just to show you what I mean, I'm just going to edit this new lead just to show you the fields. So you can see all of these fields, the title, the budget, time zone. If you were to add them on your own, they would show up on the bottom here. We are happy to move the fields and place them anywhere you like. We understand that every print shop is different. So please ask us, and we're happy to place those fields wherever you like. So let's go to leads. We can see our leads. You can see as well that the company was created on the fly. So now we have a new company. One more thing to note here is, and this was a common question from print shops, is what if I have more than one lead from the same company? No problem. You can just add them both. And the way to do that is to actually click on the company and then contact to see all the contacts. And then from here, you can click on new contact, because by default, any new contact will be a lead until you convert them to status completed. And you would just fill this out. And that would create a new lead with the same company name. And of course, when you convert, it'll convert that information for you. Coming back to the custom fields, you can see here that the custom fields of email, opt, and budget are shown here, and they're searchable, of course. So as with other custom fields in our system, you can always go to the columns display and you can decide which custom fields you would like shown on the list here. So I'm just going to select, for example, time zone. And now it's going to show the value for the time zone column. One more thing to note here is, since our system has user roles and we have the salesperson user role, you can set up a training call with us and we can show you how you can set up the system so that salespeople only view their own leads. And in this way, because leads are also a separate list, it's a very clean way of being able to manage the leads and salespeople not being able to view other salespeople's leads. And one more thing to note here is we've done a major update to our Kanban view. And of course, you can set up a user role so that only certain users have access to this dashboard Kanban view. And now this is really a complete Kanban view because now we show you a leads list. So as the manager or the owner of the shop, you can now see a full list of all leads. And of course, you can jump to that lead. You can also see everything else from estimate to delivery. And now we've also added invoices. I know this is a leads video, but just to show it here. So now you can also see all unpaid invoices in the list. And just one quick update here as well is you can see that we also show the status of the invoices from orders to delivery. So now this is a real complete Kanban view. Thank you.